Hello, I'm Chris from Userdoc. Userdoc is an AI-infused requirements management software to help you build better software requirements faster. I'll take you through now our project Wizard, which I feel is specifically very handy for digital agencies or software consultancies that actually build client software, because it can really help you move from 0 to 1 super fast. So we start by entering the name of our project, and I've got an example. We'll call it Health Connect. So this is a fictional project. We then move on to a description. Now you can type whatever detail you have here, but I'm just going to copy and paste an example I've done. So it's a mobile app for patients to communicate with healthcare providers. When we click next, what we're actually doing here is we're going and finding the different types of users that may use this system. Now that's important because what we're building is user stories here. So we've come back with patient and healthcare provider, which is exactly what we mentioned in the previous step. Here, a good overview of the description of how they use it, but we can obviously edit this or change it. We can also add different user types. So we could add an administrator. Let's say we want to do that. An administrator, live demo typing. Now we can use AI to help generate the types of features and interactions that they might have with the system. So HealthConnect to manage patient provider profiles, perfect. Control, access control, system issues, smooth communication, wonderful. This is exactly what I want for this project. Now we move on to the next stage. So here we can choose to use AI or not. If we don't, we can enter all the requirements ourselves, but let's continue because that's what this demo is about. So now what's happening is we're going away and Userdoc's AI is going and suggesting many different user stories or features that could be in the system. Now this will take a minute or so, but you'll see why, because it's going to be quite valuable. And here we go. What we're seeing here is the different user types and user stories that have been created for this fictional project. So for the patient, we've got register, login, view healthcare providers, select them, request consultation, all this information. So if we click on one of these, such as send image or exam result, we can see some more information. So upload images or exam results for healthcare providers to analyze. This is great. Now I could add to this. I could say images must be in JPEG format. So we can do whatever we want here. We can make changes. We can add entirely new stories. And we can move them around if whatever we need. We can also see what the healthcare providers' user stories are and the administrators' user stories. So if we know what we want, then this is fantastic because we can spend the time here entering exactly what's required. But if we need inspiration, then that's great as well. Once we've confirmed this, we move on to the next step. So what's happening here is we're taking the information that you gave us about the system, plus the different features and user types that were broken down, and we're going to come up with super detailed user stories and acceptance criteria. Now that will be used as a basis for your software requirements and a really impressive first draft. You can then go and edit those and make changes as you wish. So here we go. We're now looking at the Userdoc project Health Connect, which we just made. And on the left-hand side is all the different user stories that were created. So it's created 50 user stories, which is a super detail about this system, from registering as a patient and then all the acceptance criteria. So this is the registration form with the, this information, name and email with validations, the actual password plus the password policy, confirmations, register button, and what happens next. So it actually says that once you've registered, you'll continue to patient login screen. So we can flow through the system like this. Once you've logged in, patient dashboard, and so on. So we've got all the different user stories here for all the different user types. Now, this took me maybe like 3 or 4 minutes, but it probably would have taken me, I would say, upwards of 2 or 3 days to create this amount of information. But it's not just the user stories that it's built. It's created the user types and personas as well. So we've got a user type for the administrator called Carlita Winslow, and it tells you about her goals and frustrations. User types and personas for the patients as well. So, their frustrations is getting difficult getting timely appointments with healthcare providers, struggle sharing medical reports. These are the impetus to why people use these systems. And lastly, we've got a user journey. Now, the user journey is a flows through the system, which literally describe, the patient, Alicia Gomez downloads the application, sets up her profile, interacts with healthcare providers, and so on. So by culminating user stories, user types and personas with user journeys, Userdoc gives a super valuable initial draft of software requirements. You can obviously completely edit all of these and make changes as you wish. You can also add new features, of course. So let's say we want a feature called, for the patient, we want a feature called, emergency help, where they can perhaps contact their doctor or healthcare provider. So again, we can use AI here to come up with, I want to send an emergency alert to my healthcare provider, get immediate assistance. Perfect, exactly what we want. We can also generate acceptance criteria. So the acceptance criteria was just generated by the AI, which succinctly understands the system, the other user stories, and paints a really detailed feature here. Without Userdoc, it would take many hours to build this information, and it's not trapped inside Userdoc. You can integrate this with your project management tools such as Jira or any other tool, and you can export it as CSV, Word docs, spreadsheets, whatever you need. You can also chat to your information. So I can say, how do I register? So let's pretend you've got someone new on board or developers are working and they forget how this information is done. You can ask questions of your information, and it says if you're a patient, you can register Health Connect by providing your email and name. For healthcare providers, blah, blah, blah. So it even understood that the two different registration points. So that's just a quick example of our new and improved AI-facilitated project creation, which I think is super valuable for software consultancies and agencies. Love to talk more. Thank you.